Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Persian and the Cowboy podcast. As always, he's the Persian, I'm the Cowboy. And today we have a lot to cover. Some emergency episodes coming out right now. A few nights ago, we had the GOP debate and the Trump indictment, as well as the Maui fires to cover. So without any further ado, we're going to hop right into the GOP debate. Mr. Persian, what were your highlights and your takeaways from that debate?
Man, let me just say, Mr. Cowboy, we had a lot of current events that have taken place, a lot of tragedies, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of uncertainty. But going to the GOP debates was really interesting. I watched most of it, and I watched the highlights. But the biggest takeaway of this was one of the candidates, the Indian-American businessman Vivek Ramaswamy. He was the clear winner in the debates. Very poised speaker, very concise. He did not look agitated. He looked very comfortable up there on the stage. And he has many of the same policies as Donald Trump, and he's like a younger version of Donald Trump. So it's very refreshing to see some younger faces. He's not, I don't even believe he's 40 years old. I think he's 38, maybe he's close to 40. I don't know his age, but this guy was very sharp, and he was the clear winner of the debate.
Yeah, I've heard that he actually is spending a lot of his own money in this process, too.
Yeah, he's not paid and bought for like everybody else.
To our knowledge, at least. So,
yeah, I mean, he's very, he has nationalistic ideas. He's anti-climate change. He thinks climate change is a hoax. He is very pro parents being involved in the education side. He's a firm believer in the two genders, like you and I believe, male, female. I mean, that's just common sense, but he's shutting down.
Unless you're born with both parts or something.
Well, I don't know. That's a whole nother story. But
yeah.
He's against wokeism, which wokeism needs to die in this country because it's destroying the values of this great nation. He is about capitalism. He's a he's a businessman, but he's very big on capitalism, getting people out of poverty. He is extremely sharp, very bright, and very articulate, and he just carried himself the other night in the GOP debates. And he's also, on his foreign policy, he's also has isolationist type tendencies. Yeah. But he's also very weary of China, too, which was very refreshing to see.
Well, yeah, you've always been terrified of China, but
yeah,
I just wonder what his... It just, when I was watching it, seeing the highlights of it right there, it seemed like everyone was trying to imitate Donald Trump's strategy through the last debates and just trying to have the one-liners, the zingers, and just trying to get back and forth at each other, and just these messages that they'd pre-recorded or not pre-recorded, but thought out like weeks in advance of what their talking points are going to be.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you just heard the whole thing. First of all, I didn't like that as a part of the party, they all bashed on Trump, except for Vivek. He didn't bash on Trump. He actually said that if he became president, he would pardon Trump with all the bullshit that Trump is facing with all the indictments, which we'll get into. But everybody was bashing on Trump. People in his own cabinet during his administration, Nikki Haley bashed a little bit on him, which I didn't like, but she pulled away because she realized she was probably going a little too hard.
Yeah.
Mike Pence, the former vice president under Donald Trump, had many negative things to say about Donald Trump. Regardless of your belief or what you think, you were vice president. And what he said was that President Trump put himself over the Constitution in order to change the election, which, in my opinion, I don't think he tried to do that, but he made it sound like he was trying to do that.
Has Pence ever come forward and talked about January 6th?
Oh, yeah, he's come out and said it. I mean, 1 minute he says, I was with Donald Trump, I will always support Trump. Then he flip-flops and say, oh, I was against it. He tried for me to change the election results.
Yeah, but I was just wondering, like, because he was in the chamber when everyone was coming through.
He fled.
Yeah.
He fled. Everybody fled because these people were coming after them.
Yeah, crazy.
But I think with January 6th, that day was completely... It was an unhinged day for America. It was crazy. But at the same time, with January 6th, Trump may have, kind of incited people a little bit through his words, which I could see myself doing something like that because I'm very whatever. But Trump did not want for an insurrection to happen. Trump did not want this chaos to happen. He did not want that to happen, okay? And the other thing is, these people that went there, these are the crazies and all the losers, whatever, that went there on January 6th and they were rioting, whatever. But in a way, it was a good wake-up call for the politicians
but
have been playing games, because they said, hey, oh, shit, these people are on our doorstep.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, it's like an example of defunding the police not being the right answer.
No, that's a stupid
You need more
idea.
security there. The other thing is they'd already broken through a couple of the barriers.
They had nobody protecting it. But
before Trump was even done talking.
Yeah, they had already broken through. It wasn't Trump didn't say, I'm going to come down there with you. We're going to storm the Capitol. He did not say that, and it was already happening before he even said those words. And by the way, regardless of the office of the president, the Senate and everything, they should have came. The place should have been protected not just by Capitol Police or regular police, but by members of the National Guard, because they knew the stakes were high for this election. There was tensions. They should have protected it with thousands of National Guard troops just in case, before if something like this were to happen, so they can quell this uprising that happened.
Yeah,
so they could crush it.
But then we're also not being told all the information, because there's that FBI agent, or was it a CIA operative or something like that?
Something like that.
In the room, or was on their wanted list to find as being one of the people that incited it, and then all of a sudden they found out he was FBI and they pulled him.
Yeah,
off
there
of
was
the
a
list.
lot of people there that could have been double agents that incited it. There was a lot of people in law enforcement that had participated in that. It was a crazy day, not a great day for the history of this country, because it made us look very bad. But at the same time, there's a lot of things on both sides people are not telling us. So that's why January 6th is still always a question mark. But going back to the GOP debates, some of the other candidates, Nikki Haley was very strong. I think she was a second winner.
Well, I heard that she had the statement of the night when the guys are just arguing back and forth and trying to out compete each other for stage time.
Yeah.
And she just goes, boys, calm down.
Yeah, she did that. But one of the things that she said was that she was very big on, hey, look, our biological boys should not belong in a girl's locker room.
No, absolutely not.
So she had said that, and you know what? It's very refreshing to see that the Republican Party and these candidates are starting to understand the Democrat insanity, that Democrats want boys to be girls, girls to be boys, and they want people to mix in the locker rooms and people to share the same bathrooms. It's getting out of control.
It's insane.
Across the country, and especially in this failed state called California.
Yeah, it's just craziness.
Nikki Haley had a strong night. I think her and Vivek had a very strong night. They were two of the winners. Now, for the losers, the biggest loser of the night was Governor Ron DeSantis.
Yeah.
Governor Ron DeSantis, about 2 years ago, was the party favorite to become the nominee if Trump was going to have legal issues and all this stuff. Very good governor in Florida, very strong, especially during COVID. He kept the economies open. Florida wasn't too badly impacted in terms of the economy side. But he is clearly not a national politician. He struggles with foreign policy. He struggles on domestic issues, and he looks very uncomfortable on stage. It almost looks like his butt is clenched, and he's wearing a butt plug, and he can't extend himself up there. He looks very, very, very uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. There's a meme that's out on Instagram and Facebook, and it says, when the edibles hit and you're trying to act normal. It has his face, and he's trying to smile. He looks very robotic. And by the way, he's been bought and paid for, not by Republican donors, but also by Democratic donors. And one of them is the billionaire businessman, ultra-liberal left, George Soros, who's one of the most disgusting human beings on this planet.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm not a
And that's
huge
confusing.
fan.
I don't like that.
Yeah, where DeSantis' money comes from is very sketchy. And that's one thing with like the legacy Republicans too, is they're getting funding from whoever they can. You know, a lot of them are funded by Pfizer and the big pharma guys and stuff like that. So it's just it's the mono party just taking over. So it's trying to find the politicians that are not in the mono party and trying to give them the opportunity to go forward. So
my original dream last year was I wanted a Donald Trump 2024 and Ron DeSantis ticket.
yeah.
I thought that was the dream team, but unfortunately, DeSantis has bigger aspirations. Instead of sucking from the teat, he is literally trying to go for the home run, and he is not ready for the big stage. That's why I thought he would have been better as a vice presidential candidate for Donald Trump, but unfortunately, they were, sprawling and fighting. There was a lot of infighting, and you had Trump call him Ron DeSanctimonious. So that was
But that's kind of like Biden versus Kamala was that they
they
were fighting, they were
That's
going
politics.
at it, you know.
But at the end of the day,
I still think DeSantis might make a good VP candidate. And
I think he'd be a good cabinet. I still think he would be a good cabinet member for one of these folks. But even on foreign policy questions like about Ukraine, he kept flip flopping. We should fund the Ukrainians. We should not fund them. We should make a deal with Putin. Like at the end of the day, and I've been very firm on this, we have to support Ukraine against Russia, because if we don't support Ukraine and just let Russia steamroll them, then Russia is on the doorstep of NATO. And what would stop them from invading Poland? Mm-hmm. And the Europeans are very weak. We know that. And at the end of the day, the Europeans need to realize this is in their own backyard. They need to sacrifice the manpower and start matching what we're giving in terms of capital and weaponry and all that. We can't keep funding the bill every month. We have to cut back at a certain point and have the Europeans start wiping their own ass.
Yeah, I think we need to reevaluate what the role of the United States is
Right.
in world affairs. You know, are we the world police? Are we the world's bank? You know, I think we've been doing that at the cost of the American people's quality of life, and I don't think that's the right pathway forward for that. So,
and that's what my problem was with DeSantis, because he kept flip-flopping about this issue. It's like, dude, if you're going to be a presidential candidate, you have to have an opinion on foreign policy matters, especially when it comes to Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran. Those are four top things that are very serious for the national security of this country. So he was a clear loser. Another clear loser was...
Before we move on, why I like DeSantis as a VP for Donald Trump is just so that they can solidify the Republican vote. Donald Trump's going to come in as a bull in a china shop no matter what. Right. And if we get two candidates going, that's going to split the vote between the traditional conservatives and the new age conservatives that are going for Donald Trump.
Right.
And then that's the only way I could see Trump losing, unless, especially if they put someone like RFK or something like that against him.
I love RFK too. Switch parties. Robert Kennedy Jr., please switch parties.
But then, as DeSantis as a VP gets some time to actually see the world stage, see how things are done, because the VP doesn't actually do anything, you know, and so that might be a good stepping stone for his political career to figure out how the world stage is run as the vice president underneath Donald Trump, which is no easy task. The biggest problem with DeSantis is that he is just not charismatic.
No, he's not. For a guy that's a lawyer,
he
is not charismatic at all. He's he sounds very childish almost at times. He's not articulate. He cannot hold the conversation. He can't hold the room, and he's very inarticulate. He cannot speak, which is the problem.
He needs to learn how to deepen his voice.
Yeah, he does. He's very, very soft voice.
Yeah,
like if I'm Iran and North Korea, I'm like, fuck this guy. Get those missiles ready.
I don't know.
So,
anyways, on to the next loser.
Yeah, so the other guy that I can't stand is fat fuck Chris Christie. Chris Christie was sucking on Trump's wiener for the longest time to get on his cabinet, and then he backstabs this guy, calls him unfit to be president, says the conduct of what he's done is beneath the president, and a lot of my fellow Trumpists that were in the crowd were booing the hell out of Chris Christie. Chris Christie is literally a failed politician. He didn't do anything for New Jersey. This guy literally he's articulate. I'll give him that. But come on, man. It's politics. They play both sides. But this guy literally has been bashing Trump left and right for the past couple years. And you know what? Your credibility is out the window, my friend, because you can't the guy that you supported and you were almost a part of his cabinet, you literally are turning your back on him. Mm-hmm. And the funniest part of the debate was that people were going after Chris Christie. Chris Christie wanted to become the fan favorite by bashing Trump. He wasn't talking about a lot of the issues. And I think a lot of the candidates, instead of talking about the issues at hand, many of the candidates were just talking about Trump the whole time.
Which is good for Trump, again, because he's still running everything.
He's still the clear favorite. Yeah. And I think he's the first guy in history to not be a part of a debate and actually was tied with Vivek for winning the debate. Because some of these candidates are so low energy and weak. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. I think RFK has the best. When he was asked about Trump, he said that, I'm not going to insult the guy. I'm not going to criticize him or his politics or the things that he's done in the past. I'm about bringing the American people together so that we can march forward as one, you know?
Has he switched parties yet?
No, he's not going to switch parties. I don't think.
He should switch parties because he is not a traditional Democrat. He needs to join the Republican Party. He's more of an independent, actually, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, the Democratic primary is rigged, so who knows who's going to be
It's rigged.
put into it.
They're not going to let him attend. They're not going to let him speak, but I love RFK. I would actually love a Trump RFK ticket if RFK switches the party.
I'd be happy with both of them running against each other because then I can actually vote for who I like the best, not for like who I'm more afraid of, because there's no way I'm voting for Biden. So if Biden's on the ticket, I'm voting for the other guy.
I'd rather cut my left nut off to vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah,
right?
That's the only one you got left too.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what happens there. But so yeah, I mean, those are the two biggest losers of the night. I mean, no one really cares about Asa Hutchinson and the governor of North Dakota. I mean, those guys are probably going to drop out in like a month because they don't have a lot of popularity. They're going to get less than 1% of the vote. Tim Scott is kind of a neutral guy. I think he's a good vice presidential candidate, and I think he will be a part of somebody's cabinet. But he's still very young. He's the future of the party. He could become a front-running presidential candidate maybe in 4 to 8 years to challenge the future. But Tim Scott also, same kind of thing, like just...
Well, in 4 years, you and I are going to be old enough to run.
Yeah, that is true. You never know. Me and the Cowboy may have a ticket, dude. You never know. But yeah, I just think out of the debates and what we saw, the two people that really caught my eye were Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley. And the thing with Nikki Haley is she has a political background.
I really liked her at the UN stuff that she was doing.
Yeah, she was
dominating.
Involved in Trump's. She's involved. She was in Trump's cabinet, and I believe she was the governor of South Carolina, right, for a while.
I need to go.
I believe she was the governor of South Carolina. So Nikki Haley has quite the experience. She has a good background, and she's strong. She's charismatic. She's articulate, and she knows about the issues. She's strong foreign policy wise. She gets the domestic issues. She wants to change a lot of things, and I think she would be a very good presidential candidate.
Well, and we could bring back all the T-shirts that said "It's time for a woman in office."
That's Hillary it. Yeah, we don't want Hillary as president. Believe me. But I think all in all, the biggest thing is Donald Trump needs to get on that debate stage on the next round of debates in the next few weeks, and he needs to show himself. The American people need to see him, see how he's doing, and once Trump gets back on that stage, he will command the room, and he will win the next debate. But he is the clear presidential nominee for the Republican Party, unless something happens where he's jailed against his own will, which is looking like it's going to be.
You think Nikki Haley could be his VP candidate?
Absolutely, I think she could be his VP. I think there's two people.
I don't think that bridge has been burnt, so yeah.
I think there's two people that could become his VP, and that's going to be Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley. I prefer Nikki Haley over Vivek.
Yeah.
But Vivek has a lot of good points, very sharp. He's not a career politician. He's a businessman. He gets it on the economy side, but at the same time, Nikki Haley would be that good buffer.
Yeah, and then he'd be ready for 2028 if he was
You get
VP,
Vivek ready for 2028, but then Nikki Haley would want to run for president, but you get Vivek ready. You bring Vivek aboard as a cabinet member with some sort of position, and then you get him prepped.
How old is Nikki Haley? She's in her 50s now, or
I think she's going to be in her 50s, maybe early 50s, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me, but yeah. But she's young, and the key thing is we need young people in office. So we need young people in office because the 82-year-old Joe Biden, whatever, how old is his face is melting off. How old he is, but we need people that are mentally capable, who can actually speak, who are not mumbling and falling over bikes and shit.
Yeah.
Like we need people that can actually lead, who actually have a command of the government. So that's kind of where it's at. But that was just the highlight. And then the problem was you just had switching over to the Trump indictments. Trump had his fourth set of indictments with some of his lawyers and some of the people, elected officials in Georgia that kind of, were helping him out. But again, it's more about the fraudulent stuff that was going on, the intimidation, the election stuff.
Yeah, so what is this one
Crazy.
about? How about let's back it up. So
Yeah.
we all saw Trump's mugshot that just came out, and I think that
That's
was
the best, by the way. That's the best mugshot I've ever seen. He looks so pissed. He's already like planning his revenge tour. He is so fucking mad.
I can't believe they thought that was a good idea to that we just need to get the mugshot.
They're trying to embarrass him. That's what it comes down to.
I know, but you're gonna like come out. It's gonna be a badass mugshot. T-shirts are gonna be starting to be made of that,
and it
thing.
makes and people still love this guy even more.
You just made
This
him a
whole
martyr.
thing- the Democrat Party is so fucking stupid. The more and more they try to get this guy indicted with different charges, bogus stuff. I mean, on one end of the spectrum, before we talk about the actual charges, on one end of the spectrum, you literally have the Democrat Party, and I'm going to go down the list. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton have been involved in the murders of several people within their inner circle. Allegedly, which, I mean...
Keep us safe, here.
Oh, my God, you never know. But the guy, literally, one of the interns was trying to expose Hillary Clinton in 2015, 2016. He was apparently jogging in Washington, D.C., near his place of residence. He was killed, but his wallet, they tried to make it look like he was mugged, but his wallet and ID and money were all on him.
What the?
Like, that doesn't make any sense. That looks very suspicious.
He just got stabbed and then just the guy didn't take
I don't know if
any
he
of
was
his
shot
money?
or stabbed, but like they made it look like a mugging, and he was murdered in cold blood, and all his credentials were still on him. His wallet was on him. That's
Yeah.
very suspicious. You look at their inner circles, their business dealings with the Clinton Foundation, all the corrupt money they have taken, and all the bullshit they have done. Hillary Clinton's 33,000 emails. Nothing has been done. Zero indictments. Barack Obama, between his dealings with the Islamic Republic of Iran and the billions of dollars that were unfrozen and given to them on a silver platter, okay?
Yeah.
And also the whole Fast and the Furious drug cartel gun running stuff. That's another thing. Then you look at like the Bush family. Oh my God, George Bush literally invaded two countries after 9/11, Afghanistan and Iraq.
On false pretenses.
Lied to the American public about weapons of mass destruction when they invaded Iraq in 2003. They destabilized the Middle East region further. They destroyed the country of Iraq for no reason. They got rid of Saddam Hussein for no reason. You need to keep a monarch in those countries in charge. There's too many tribal and religious differences. And you killed hundreds of thousands of Iraqis for no reason because of the insurgency and civil war that was caused because of the invasion. You killed close to 5,000 American troops in Iraq, maimed another 30, 40,000 for no reason, for weapons of mass destruction, which never was there. Weapons of mass destruction were in Iraq in the late 80s, early 90s when Saddam was gassing his own people and the Kurds in the northern part of Iraq and Iranian troops during the Iran-Iraq war. So all these, and Dick Cheney, who was the orchestrator, thank you, of the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Like, all these guys are just chilling. George Bush is literally depressed and painting pictures of war veterans that he sent to war because he's trying to cope with his mistake. I mean, the Clintons, the Obamas, the Bushes, and the Cheneys should all be in jail right now, and their assets should be given back to the American public. I mean, just look at George Bush and Dick Cheney. Why the fuck are they still chilling right now? They should be in jail. Oh, their whole cabinet, Condoleezza Rice, Rumsfeld's dead. I don't know if Wolfowitz is still alive. Colin Powell, I think, has passed away. But a lot of these people that are still alive, put them in jail. They lied to the American public to go to war. But then Donald Trump, who clearly has all these indictments that are coming out. The Russia thing was a hoax. The probe that was done, the chief investigator said all of this was fake. There is no connection between Donald Trump, his administration, and Vladimir Putin in Russia. There's no connection. And these indictments are really, folks, to put him in jail because he's the only one that can crush the elites. He's the only one that can win the next election. So they're trying to put him in jail because they know he's going to win. They're using second and third world tactics. And before I finish, Cowboy, the other family that also needs to be in jail is the Biden family. Joe Biden has done, over the past 4 decades, so many corrupt things in office. He's made so many deals with foreign entities for his own family, and his son, Hunter Biden, has been the ringleader. There are emails out there that says, hey, give 10% to the big guy. The big guy's Joe Biden. They've made deals with Ukraine, the government of Ukraine. They've made deals with the government of China. They've made deals with other foreign entities. They've made deals in Russia. Like, dude, all these guys have done worse things. They have done worse crimes, but they're getting off scotch-free. But my man Trump is literally getting indicted every week for nothing. Doesn't make any sense.
And I mean, Joe Biden also is on video in an interview explaining how he went to Ukraine and said, if you don't fire the prosecutor, I'm going to pull the money from this, while he was vice president.
Yeah, it's out there.
Yeah.
It's out there. I don't understand if we're going to take one guy down, you have to take everybody down. And the thing with Trump is, what did he do that was so wrong compared to these other guys?
Well, and I think that it's important to clarify that the president should be held accountable for he's not above the law. He cannot just get away with stuff scotch-free. Exactly. But the thing that's happening right now is they are finding every little ticky-tack thing that they possibly could pin on him, just in an attempt to get him arrested so that he can no longer run for president of the United States.
Nobody should be above the law. However, the charges that are against him are unfounded. Maybe he's guilty of a couple things, but what he's done compared to these other groups of people that I just listed is nothing.
Yeah. And
those other people should be, like Hunter Biden should be in jail right now. And every time the Biden family has been getting investigated by the so-called prosecutor and the attorney general, Merrick Garland's like, I'm going to appoint an independent counsel to look into this, which is bullshit because he's on the Biden payroll, he's in his administration. There's a new Trump indictment the following day.
Yeah, seriously.
Very, very, very ironic and very suspicious.
The timing on that is just insane. So
it's gotten to the point where it's comical, and the people are not buying this bullshit.
Yeah,
they're not buying it. It only makes Trump into a martyr, and it only enhances his popularity, and he's going to win the general election in 2024 if he's able to run, and if he's not jailed by then, which I hope he's not, and if he's able to run, he is going to win. The Republican Party, no matter what, will win the next election. Guaranteed.
Unless RFK gets the Democratic election. That's the only way I could see anyone. Or the other option that I fear, and I think is what's going to happen, is they're going to somehow get Biden out of there and then get rid of Kamala as well.
Well, she's useless. She's nothing.
Yeah, she can't win anything.
The only good thing she's been in her political career is riding on Willie Brown's dick when he was the mayor of San Francisco.
But what I think is going to happen is they're going to slide in our dear governor, Gavin Newsom.
Oh, God, please no. Please no.
And we're going to have Gavin Newsom versus Donald Trump 2024.
Gavin Newsom is the biggest piece of Democratic shit that's out there. He has made California into Libya, a failed state. California is a failed state. And don't get me started. We have a ton of issues, from losing businesses to other states, high taxes, homelessness, surging organized crime, gang problems. This state is poorly mismanaged, and he will fuck up the United States even more than it already is under Joe Biden. He will make this place into Afghanistan.
But the problem is Gavin Newsom looks like a classic liberal who has is just posted all the Democratic. He's Joe Biden, but younger. He's Joe Biden, but 20 years ago.
He's Joe Biden younger, and he's definitely way to the left compared to Biden. I mean, some of the liberal policies this guy wants to enact are crazy.
But he
will not even get, and I'm going to say this right now, if he wins the Democratic nomination for president in 2024, Gavin Newsom won't even get 1% of the vote, 2% of the election. He's the most hated politician in America.
Yeah, and the problem is that he looks like a clean-cut politician
He does.
of times of old.
And
so it's going to be Trump, who says mean tweets and is an angry dude, versus Gavin Newsom, who looks the part and can dress
he
up
would
just fine.
steamroll him. He would Trump would steamroll him in the general election debates.
I hope, but they got the
that's
debates
scary.
canceled last time because someone got COVID and they couldn't do the debates anymore.
I'm very, very, very scared that your prediction of him sneaking in to become the nominee of the Democrat Party, if Biden, they pull him out, which they should pull him out because of Jesus Christ. We'll get into Maui in the next episode, but my God.
Well,
dude,
I mean, that's our
guy,
next segment right now. Yeah,
yeah,
once we don't hear.
Like that's just crazy. But I think that no matter what, the American people are tired of the Democrat Party, their liberal policies. The Democrats, instead of fixing the country's infrastructure, economy, and getting Americans back on their feet and try to get in a post-COVID world, they're more interested in creating new genders. They're more interested in having girls and boys share the same bathroom. They're more assertive of the LGBTQ community and how they feel and everything. And I have no problem with the LGBTQ community, but their focus should be on the economy, on the infrastructure, on foreign policy, on improving the lives of middle-class Americans who are continuously struggling. The cost of goods in this country has skyrocketed. Inflation is not getting better. Interest rates have gone up substantially. And, they're thinking of, the Fed is thinking of raising it again. People cannot afford this. This is getting to a point where the middle class in the United States, here's my analogy. It's literally like we are a pimple, okay? And the pimple has a lot of pus on it. And it's starting to leak because it's ready to pop. The American people are ready to pop and go in the street because they're getting so fucking fed up with these politicians and their bullshit.
Yeah, and it's the mono party that's doing it to us.
And the thing is, people, if things get really bad where you can't buy certain groceries because of the cost, people will drag these politicians out of their house in the middle of the street. They're getting so fucking fed up.
Yeah, I mean, steak is so expensive in California right now with all the taxes we have on the meat products. And now we're starting to lab grow some stuff. But I think that pimple is popped right now. And I think the Oliver Anthony guy that came out with the Richmond...
God bless Oliver Anthony. God bless him.
But I think this guy is that pimple bursting. He is the frustration of all the people of the United States, all the middle class, all the working class people. He has created the national anthem for us to move forward and to he's just identified exactly what everyone is fed up about and put it into a song and released it for all of us.
You have to be a genius to write something like that and do that. You have to be very articulate.
He would say he's not
smart.
a genius.
I think he is a genius.
Well, I do too, but he's so poised and so humble about it all. He's just saying that I'm just some guy that it's not what I felt that I put out there. I just figured out what everyone was feeling and put it into a song. I'm pulling this emotion from all of you, not just from myself. And that's what made it released. Have you heard the song in totality for it?
I actually heard the song a little bit, but I will look into it a little bit more.
Do you want to do a quick little reaction for it right now?
Let's play it. Let's play it. Play the song and let's hear it.
We can crop this down into all kinds of episodes.
Crop
if we want
it down,
to.
baby. Crop it down. Let's hear it. Play a little bit of it for me. But yeah, Cowboy, I just, it's getting to a point where 2024 is gonna be very, very. You thought 16 was very important in 2020, the elections. 2024 is gonna be a popcorn event, pay-per-view event.
Oh man, it's gonna be crazy.
Let's see what happens.
Here's the video for
I've
you
been
right here.
selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it
Well
is.
said.
Oh, it is.
There's a couple lines you gotta hear on
Living
this
in
thing.
the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men, 'cause the rich men look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down.
He's fantastic. This guy's a fucking genius.
Lord,
dude.
it's a damn shame. And your dollar ain't shit. That one. What was the other line about? I wish politicians would look out for minors and not just minors on an island somewhere.
Yeah.
Where's the freaking Epstein list, man? Why are we not seeing this thing?
We are not saying the Epstein list because they're all on it.
Yeah.
They're all on it. They're all involved with this. And that cabal, that sex trafficking cabal is a real thing. Dude.
Yeah. It's freaking crazy.
It's
man.
crazy. I mean, and every time they want to release this Epstein list, something happens.
Yeah.
There's we can't do it at this time, or we can't do that, or we can't do this. You know what? The time is coming for these guys. The chickens have come to roost.
Yeah, and the other line that really gets to me is they want to know what you think. They want to know what you do.
Yeah,
and they
do.
don't think that you know, but I know that you do. So it's that they're trying to get total control.
Yeah. Well, just look at these phones. Look at these phones. Every time you search something, ads pop up constantly on your phone for something. I had talked about something with my wife, and something on my phone popped up about a particular product.
Yep.
They are trying to control us through these corporations, and the corporations have deals with the government. So there's a lot of crazy shit happening. Don't think America is the land of the free anymore.
Well, and
there's a lot of bad shit
But there's
happening.
one thing that it really hits with me is that there's some politicians think that they know what's best for people, right? So that's my question to you. Are there a certain subset of people that cannot decide for themselves and that the government needs to take care of and help them out and make the right decisions?
Well, we
for
talked
them?
about this too, like with regard to abortion. I this is where I think me and you differ, because I'm an independent, folks. I'm an independent. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I'm an independent, but I lean more conservative and more red. But with regard to abortion, I'm against. I'm for the woman's right to choose. I want to be very clear on this. I'm for the woman's right to choose. The government should not pass a law to tell you you can't do this because of this. It should be the woman's right to choose. I've always been consistent on that. And especially in cases where, I mean, if you ban abortion and let's say a woman gets raped in a parking lot, that's not fair for her to keep the child. She didn't want the child.
Yeah. So
like that's but what I'm saying is, to answer your question, but what I'm saying is the only way the government should be involved with making a choice for somebody is in regards to our situation here in California with the homelessness, where you have people just in the street who are literally looking like zombies who need to be collected and rehabilitated against their own will because they are a danger to society and a danger to themselves. And also you have a lot of people who are homeless in the state of California who literally do not want to do anything. Some of them do not want to do anything, and they have to be forced to leave their encampments and be put somewhere where they can work, get rehabilitated. And that should be, unfortunately, the government has to do that.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking too, where it's the freedom that we have in this nation is also the freedom to fail as well. But the government seems to have stepped in at this point in time where they're taking over the responsibility for our choices for us. The government knows best. Listen to the government. Do what the government wants us to do. And I think that is completely off from what this nation is about. We
Correct.
are a nation of freedom. We are here to try our best, and we might fail. We probably will fail, but that's just how life works and that's how freedom works. But we're trading freedom now for quote-unquote security and letting the government take over control and give us, they have the decision power for us at that point.
The one thing I will say, though, is that the government should never step in. If somebody has made a bad bet, somebody has a gambling problem or whatever, and they made a bad choice, that's their problem. That's not the government's priority or the government's situation to write you a check and bail you out. No, absolutely not. But if, let's say, something happens like COVID-19 happens again, which it looks like the Chinese are starting to do something again, but if something like that were to happen and you have a business and you're about to lose your business, the government should bail you out in that particular situation if you're going to lose your business because we've been attacked by a foreign entity with them unleashing a pathogen, and it's causing economies and businesses to shut down. Now, the other part I will say is that the government should also step in terms of, if there's a situation like we talked about homelessness, right? This situation has become not only a domestic problem in this country, it has become a safety issue. You have had many people being killed by homeless people. You have had many situations in encampments where there's violence. There's been rape. There's been a lot of drug use in these encampments. And, we can't just have these people chill in the street and do these kind of things while you and I are paying taxes to have clean streets. The government should be involved in cleaning up this problem. And they have to be involved. There's certain areas where the government, to answer your question, should be involved. And they have to do it because you can't have lawlessness and chaos and things like that.
Yeah, and I think there's a difference between enforcing laws that are already on the books and, enabling behavior as well. So
and I had this conversation, Cowboy, with somebody in my neighborhood. And they're like, well, they made their choice. It's just a part of society. They're part of the society, and we have to deal. I'm like, no, absolutely not.
No.
I understand they made a choice, but
You
they're
can live on the
becoming
street, but
becoming a problem for us.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to see that when I'm trying to go to an establishment in downtown. I don't want to have to walk over someone's carcass in the street. I don't want to have to walk over someone's needle. I don't want to have to, see that shit when I'm driving in downtown or something like that. If you want your streets to be clean and immaculate, then the government needs to be involved with coming up with programs and to get these people off the street, but to also not just dump them somewhere, but to put them somewhere, rehabilitate them, give them jobs, make sure they are working and not just chilling, and then re-releasing them back into the wild.
See, that's, I think, the biggest difference in our political philosophies that we have is that I don't think the government does not have responsibility. People have responsibility.
They do. People, absolutely. I agree with you on that.
The government is just a representation of the people that we have here. It's not the government's job to make sure that you're happy, that you're safe, you're secure. The government is just there to enforce laws that are on the books. Create laws and enforce the laws of the land, right? That is what they're here for. As far as the social stuff, the helping people around us, that's the human people's responsibility. That's
absolutely
something we need to do. And so I don't believe that the government needs to come in and get these guys jobs and find them homes and go from all that. We just need to go back to enforcing the laws as they were 15, 20 years ago when we didn't have this problem.
Absolutely. The one thing that I will say is that when this social problem is becoming other people's problems on a daily basis and it's becoming a safety issue, a health issue, it's becoming a lot of different issues and they're all over the place, that is when the government has to step in and say enough is enough. You look at places like San Francisco, 40% of businesses are leaving because the place has become a mismanaged, like a city state. The government, the federal government has to come in and be like, this has got to stop.
Why don't we just enforce the laws that are in the books?
We have to enforce laws. I'm saying
public defecation is illegal.
It's illegal.
Arrest people for public defecation, for doing drugs.
Absolutely. And I want to enforce the law. Nobody loves the law more than I do, and we have to enforce the laws. We've gotten too relaxed in this state and in this country and letting criminals go. I want to punish these criminals. Mm-hmm. I want to persecute these criminals. Like these young people that are robbing stores. Oh. I want to put these people on display in jails and show them this is what's going to happen to you if you do this crap. They're coming in fully armed with AK-47s, and if there's police officers in the mall and they see these people coming in with guns to rob the stores, shoot them. Shoot them in the back. Shoot them. Yeah. Put them in the ground. Because, you know what? We need an example like that to show that this is not going to fly anymore.
Yeah, we good.
These are democratic policies that have destroyed this state and this country. We're seeing it all over the country. Enough is enough. That's when we have to have a real strong government to enforce the law with an iron fist. You know I like using that, but we need to clean up this homeless problem in this area because it has gotten out of control. And we have liberal people that say, well, it is what it is. They're people too. They made a choice. They have to deal with it, whatever. And we need to be caring about their feelings. No, I don't want to see that shit. It has to be cleaned.
Yeah, let's transition into our next subject. You want to go into we have more news on the Maui fires. Though.
Oh man, Cowboy.
Where do we even begin
Jesus
with
Christ.
this thing, dude?
So Cowboy, as we know about a week and a half ago, Hawaii does have wildfires, by the way, which was a trip to me. I mean, everywhere has wildfires, but Hawaii has had wildfires for a while, but particularly the Lahaina area, which is a popular tourist destination in Maui.
Really old whaling town.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of 5-star resorts, hotels, things like that.
I've been there a couple of times. It was a beautiful place.
It was a beautiful place. But you talk about the Democrat Party and poorly mismanaged situation. So I guess there was a hurricane, or as they say, typhoon in the Pacific that was near the island, and it brought a lot of heavy winds and rain, but especially wind, which they deal with this all the time. But magically, some of the power lines fell and have caused a fire, similar to California a few years back. But it caused a fire, and due to the wind and embers flying all over the place, it caused a chain reaction fire in the city of Lahaina and the outskirt towns, and it burned the whole place to the ground. And the governor of Hawaii, I believe his name is Josh Green. Let me just look this up real quick. I have it listed right here in my notes. So Josh Green, the governor of Hawaii, is being ridiculed for his performance on this, for handling the situation, as well as the mayor of Lahaina, Richard Bisson. So I want to understand this. You have fires happening. Where is the evacuation process? Where are the sirens going off in that part of town telling people to evacuate? Why is the water being shut off? Why are the main roads being closed off by trucks so people can be stranded? Where is the accountability? Where is the federal government? Where is the military from Oahu to go to Maui to assist with the evacuation process and all of that? Where's Joe Biden? Do you guys know that President Biden, when this was happening, he was briefed? He didn't give a flying rat's ass. He was sunbathing on a beach in Delaware while people are melting and burning alive.
You know what I heard? Actually, I heard that Maui is going to change their name to Ukraine so that they can get some more funding to actually help them out.
Yeah, I can't believe this. So let me get this straight. The 51st state of the United States, which is now Ukraine, is getting all this money, taxpayer money, from the Cowboy, myself, and hundreds of millions of Americans. But our fellow Americans in Hawaii are literally dying, and they're losing their homes.
Last I heard,
and their properties.
100 dead, and we still have 1,000 people missing.
They think the death toll could be even more than 1,000 at this point because they can't find people because they've either, they've tragically lost their lives and they can't find them.
Burned to death or drowning. It's kind of hard to find.
It's hard to find them. So, but this asshole says we need to pay the pensions of the Ukrainian people. But the people in Hawaii are not getting assistance? Where was Governor Josh Green when this was happening? Where was his administration, the governor of Hawaii? Where was the mayor of Lahaina? Where were the people being evacuated? No helicopters coming to rescue people, to take them out of the island. No boats, no frigates remaining in the waters off the coast of Lahaina so they can have people there. They have literal pictures of ocean water on fire. Very strange. Many of the native people that live on Maui, both native Hawaiians and people from the United States mainland who've moved there, they have said that they have a lot of suspicions about this fire. They say that they've dealt with these kind of things a lot, from regarding to typhoons and hurricanes and hurricane winds and rain. They say this is not it. A lot of people are saying the way these things burned doesn't make sense. Like some of the cars don't look like they were burned in a wildfire. It looks like they were burned with a weapon of some sort, like a high energy weapon. I'm not saying that the U.S. government or corporations, fired some sort of high energy weapon to burn that part of Lahaina. And I'm saying that because
some people online are saying that.
Some people are saying that. And literally, people on the island are convinced that the corporations, the 5-star hotel, entertainment, resort companies want the people that have beachfront property in Lahaina. They want to force them out. And they've been trying to force them out for decades. And a lot of them think that this was done intentionally by these companies to get these people out of there and to buy the land at a very cheap rate and then to rebuild these 5-star resorts.
Yeah, and
to build like more and more and more.
That's a conspiracy theory that I 100% believe.
I actually do believe it.
Yeah.
I actually do believe it, but in terms of the high energy weapon, I don't know about all that, but I do think that this was done intentionally. I do think it was done intentionally.
So the thing that really freaks me out is that the pumps failed.
How the fuck does that even fail?
Because they had firefighters there. They're brave men and women that are going and charging right into danger. They got their hoses going. They're spraying these things down, trying to save homes,
turned it off.
Trying to save lives, and the pumps failed. And they had to drop the hoses, and they were trying to run for their lives. How the hell does a critical system like that fail in the time when you need it most? It's an infrastructure failure of the Hawaiian government that doesn't make any damn sense.
Well, it's very similar too. I mean, you talk about, they said that the fires, some of the fires were started by down power lines. I have said this time and time again. Are we a second and third world country that our power lines are still up? Instead of giving all these foreign countries all this fucking money, start investing in rebuilding American infrastructure. These things should be in the fucking ground, underground. Is it that hard to do it? We are the best country in the world, supposedly. We need to start doing these things to avoid these tragedies.
We dig up our sewage lines all the damn time to repair.
You can't put these things underground? I don't understand this. And the thing is, they're like, well, like the Hawaiian version of PG&E was like, oh, it wasn't well maintained. Motherfucker, you're paid by taxes to maintain this. And now you have the lives of almost 1,000 to 1,100 people that are gone. You have hundreds, maybe even thousands of homes that have been incinerated because you guys mismanage. It talks about government mismanagement.
Well, and it also, everything done by the government gets mismanaged eventually. So to me, that's a point of like, why don't we privatize that industry? Why are we doing public utilities? Let free markets determine and maintain their own system.
My policy on that.
I know, but we could get some competition going on out there, and then we could actually have a good system that's maintained because they know that if they fuck up, their business is gone.
Well, they're pocketing the fucking money. These guys are pocketing money that they get, and they're not maintaining the infrastructure. People shouldn't have to pay more money for this shit. And by the way, the governor of Hawaii, Josh Green, and the mayor of Lahaina, Richard Bisson, and all these cabinet members in Hawaii should be summoned to Washington, D.C. for a hearing, and they should have criminal charges pressed against them immediately.
Yeah.
They are responsible for the deaths of hundreds of Hawaiians, maybe even 1,000 or 2, depending, because they don't know what the fuck this death toll is going to be. Mm-hmm. They are responsible for, they're actually calling this the biggest wildfire tragedy in America.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Which is crazy because we've had so many.
I know, yeah. What was the...
California's was really bad.
Well, yeah. What town was it? It was
Paradise.
Paradise. That was the one. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Well, that's a weird coincidence right there. Paradise in California burns to the ground, and then Paradise in Hawaii burns to the ground. Like, that's
something is going on. Something's going on, Cowboy, but if I was the president... I don't even say if I was a president. First of all, if there's a fucking tragedy happening, somebody tell that limp dick Joe Biden to get off his ass, get his Alzheimer's medication in order. Somebody put him on a plane and get his ass over there within 24 hours, not a week and a half later. And then the son of a bitch lands in fucking Hawaii, and I can't believe the Hawaiians gave him the traditional wreath that they wear, the lei. Fuck this guy. And then he goes to I don't know where he was at a convention center or a evacuation center or a gym where they had it as an evacuation center. He was like, I can relate to you all. Jill and I, our house was struck by lightning, and I almost lost half our house and our kitchen and my Corvette. Motherfucker, people have lost their actual house. They've lost their pets. They've lost loved ones. They have lost everything. And you're talking about your 1967 Corvette, you insensitive piece of shit.
Yeah, in his like second or third home that he already
Yeah, he
owns.
has like 7 homes. Cocksucker has other homes, but he's like, we almost lost this. Dude, people have lost everything, you piece of shit. Like, and you're there, you're insensitive. And then he's sitting there as somebody's speaking, one of the delegations there, and he's like this.
Yeah, because he can't even stay awake.
He can't even stay awake.
His
dude.
medication's
This guy, his
running out.
medication, I don't know what this guy's on. And then where's Kamala Harris? Is she riding more dicks at this point?
No, they're keeping her in the basement because every time she opens her mouth, everything just goes
Everything
to hell
falls
too.
apart. She's like, When she talks, she's like, I don't know.
Her
Are
nervous
you wearing a butt
laugh is
plug? Are you wearing a
infuriating.
butt plug? And then this husband that she has, this whipped cuckold. This guy's a cuckold. Every time they show him on TV, he looks like a dog on a leash. Like she pulls the leash every time because he can't speak. He was like wearing. And then did you see the kiss that he had 2 years ago with Jill Biden at the fucking what do they call it? The State of the Union.
Whoa.
They like fucking were making out practically.
Damn.
Like the mouths, there was some saliva on there. I don't know if
Interesting.
Kamala appreciated that, but the way she's moved up the ranks of her political career is that she's hopped on different guys' dicks. But that's a whole nother.
Well, that's what Hillary
level.
did too. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Hillary likes men. I think she has a girlfriend, but that's a whole nother subject.
Well, yeah,
but
she liked. I mean, that's why she was married
Yeah,
to
she's
Bill
with Bill.
Clinton.
You think Bill
Yeah.
wanted to have relations with her? Bill was like humping it out with interns. Dude.
Yeah, he was
She
having a
wants-
good time.
He wants that chipmunk-looking motherfucker. I don't think so. But anyways, getting back to the more serious situation with Hawaii, folks. If you have the ability to donate, go on the American Red Cross websites, go to the GoFundMe pages, go to any pages related to the situation with Maui and donate, even if it's $1, $5, $10, whatever you can do. I know things are tough economically right now with inflation, cost of goods. Everybody has their own issues, but we have to help our fellow Hawaiians. We have to help our fellow Americans who are struggling because the federal and state governments of Hawaii and the United States have let them down yet again. And it's just a horrible tragedy that in 2023 we're having these kind of tragedy. And then they immediately go to climate change. Give me a fucking break, dude. This was
Climate change did not stop the pumps from running.
yeah.
That is
This
gross negligence.
mismanagement by the state government of Hawaii, and it's mismanagement by their utility companies, and it's mismanagement on a whole other scale. And you have the corporations who are trying to fuck people over and take their homes.
Let's entertain that theory a little bit. Okay, so it's not a directed energy weapon that was shot down from space. I think we can cast that
that's
out.
a little crazy.
But arson is definitely on the table.
yeah, it's very.
It's really easy to start a fire. That was like a old beach buildings with rickety old boards that have been there for 100 years.
The place it was like it's kindling. It went up like that, and people on the island said, "Dude, this is not. It's not possible for our local towns and our main city on this part of the island to be eradicated."
Yeah.
Like, how many fires had to start at the same time, and they all formed one fire? It doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense.
Yeah, it's just craziness right there.
And
But
what kills me is that there are people who literally threw themselves into the ocean because they got stranded and they probably drowned, and there is fire around them in the water.
yeah.
What?
Yeah, if you get oil on top of the water, it's going to burn like
It's
that.
going to burn, but
Yeah.
all over.
Well, yeah, and it's
And the boats, a lot of boats in the harbor caught on fire too because of the embers, but that doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Something's going on.
yeah, we're not getting all the answers on this one, and if if the government had a history of telling us the truth, I'd be
They
like,
never
oh,
tell
yeah.
the truth. If you think your government is honest, then you're a peanut-sized moron. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the bottom line. But I all in all, I really think that the governor of Hawaii, Josh Green, the mayor of Lahaina, this Richard Bisson guy, whatever his name is, Bisson, his last name, all the members of Josh Green's cabinet. And I actually do think there's a line for impeachment because they mishandled this. And also, I think the articles of impeachment should be already opened up on Biden because of his situation with the payouts from China and Ukraine.
Well, if
with
Biden was held to the same standard as Trump, it would be already done.
Of course.
Yeah.
But all these people should be on trial right now for the murder of 1,000 to 1,100 people or more.
Yeah.
And for all the property that was wasted, and the government needs to pay these people out for their properties. It's full.
It's time that we get competent people in office. It doesn't matter how kind or likable. I don't care if you're an asshole. I care about competency. Are you an effective leader? Do you get shit done? Do things get better when you are in charge? We need to go back to those kind of times.
These people are just politicians because they want it on their resume so they can join the board of some company. They're not in it to lead. We need leaders who are, like you said, competent, who are going to be caring about the American people. When you're the leader of a state or the country, people are your children. I know it's a very dictatorship type thing to say, but the people are your children. You are protecting them. You are responsible for the hundreds of millions of people, okay? As president, as governor, you're responsible for the people of your state, for the safety of the people of your state, for the maintaining of the utilities, in case of emergency to have a plan in place, not to see your fellow people incinerate and you're blocking the roads so they can't get out. That's very strange to me. That's very strange to me.
Yeah, it is just insane.
We need a political reset, folks, in this country. We need to get rid of the old, drain the swamp, and bring in the new, because these dinosaurs that are in office nowadays, they're all pieces of shit. It doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat, Independent.
We need to go back to the original Constitution, how it was set up before the corporations got their hands in it, before the CIA was created, before the FBI, the NSA. All these organizations are secret government that needs to go.
110%
We need to
agree
get
with you.
rid of the Federal Reserve. That is step one.
Yeah, the Federal Reserve is a piggy bank for the rich people.
It is.
It is a piggy bank.
It was originally set up for a government of the people, by the people, for the people. That is what our government was set up to do, and that is what we need to come back to.
It's the government of the corporations. The corporations are dingling these politicians around like puppets. You know, they're the ones calling the shots. So at the end of the day, we have to get money out of politics, and we have to get these corporations need to be limited in their powers. They should not be bigger than government. I'm sorry. Corporations have become too powerful into monopolies. There should not be monopolies. They should be broken up.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, I love money, and I think of myself as a capitalist, but a certain extent, because these things are getting out of control.
My politics can be summed up as small government, small business. We need to keep both of those guys in check so that neither one gets too powerful.
We agree on many things and we disagree on some things. I love small business. Nobody loves small business more than I do. But the government needs to be involved in things, but they also have to be put in check, because when there isn't regulation, you are now seeing that the corporations have always been in bed with politicians and politics and whatever, but it's getting out of control.
Yeah.
Like, after gun tragedies in this country, you know, all the politicians on both sides who've been bought by the NRA and gun manufacturers, they don't say shit because they're paid for in full by these guys, which is disgusting. It's sad.
It is sad, and it's something that we're going to have to discuss and talk about on the next episode. I think we're running out of time for this
here.
one.
A lot of good stuff, Cowboy.
Yep, a lot of good ones in this one. But thank you, and God bless everyone. And
God bless America, and God help us.
please donate to the Maui relief funds that you can find on GoFundMe. We'll drop some links in the description for this. And thank you to the brave men and women who went out into harm's way during the Maui fires and really tried to make a difference.
To our first responders in Hawaii, to the folks that have volunteered their time, and for our firefighters and people in law enforcement who from the mainland have gone to Hawaii to help. God bless you all. Appreciate it.
God bless. Take care.
Take care.